Hey friends, welcome or welcome back. My name is Shannon, and today I am confessing something that we have all done this year. Started a book with the best of intentions and then put it down for whatever reason and then never picked it up again. So now that we're nearing the end of the year, everybody on BookTube is putting up their end of the year book tag and or books that I must finish by the end of the year. So I might as well add my own stack. I'm not going to do any tag questions or anything like that, but I have 10 books that I have started at various times throughout 2025 and that I'm partially the way through, I put down for whatever reason, and I really want to try and finish them before the end of the year. I don't like having so many books on the go. I'm a very mood focused reader, and so what tends to happen is I pick something up with the best of intentions, I'm loving it, but then I'm in the mood for something else, or the book is too big for me to take on my commute, or I'm just not feeling it that day or something like that. And now it's November and I have 10 books strewn about the house waiting to be finished. And so I really want to try and focus on those for the rest of November and into December. So let's get into it. So I'll start with the book that I've had on the go for the longest, and that is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. This is the Pavir and Volokonsky translation. I started this in January with the full intention of taking the entire year to read it. However, it is now November and I'm only halfway through it. And the part, I put this down in the summer and I just have not been able to pick it back up because I dislike Anna so much. Despite the fact this book being called Anna Karenina, it is not truly all about Anna Karenina. There's another storyline of Levin, and I enjoy his storyline, Levin and Kitty. I am not enjoying Anna. She is just driving me insane. And I'm a girl's girl and I really want to support my girls. I know women at this time did not have it easy, but she is not doing herself any favors. All right. She is just letting stuff happen to her and flouting around like a big baby. And I'm having a hard time with her. So I put it down. I have not been able to pick it back up. And I really want to try to finish it for the end of the year. I mean, I made such good headway. I just want to slap her. I'm sorry. I know some people absolutely love Anna Karenina, and this is actually a reread for me. And obviously, I didn't feel this way the first time I read it. I read it so long ago, I can't remember how I felt, but I obviously didn't feel this strongly about it because I would not have picked it back up. This is one of the dangers of doing rereads. Is that you are a different person. When I first read it, I would have been, in my late teens, early 20s. I am in my mid 40s. I am a completely different person now. So we'll see. We'll see. The next book that I would like to finish is The Odyssey by Homer, and this is translated by Daniel Mendelsohn. Now, The Odyssey has been on my bucket list books for many years. I always told myself that I was never going to read these without some type of guidance, and just by happenstance, that guidance came up in the form of some lectures that the New York Review of Books was putting on with Daniel Mendelsohn. And it was, I don't know, maybe like 6 lecture series. And so I paid, and luckily they're recorded because I wasn't able to attend all of the lectures live. Each lecture spent time on a couple of chapters, and it was just really, really informative. And I always thought the Odyssey was going to be really, really hard to get through, but this translation is not, and I'm enjoying it a lot. However, things got busy at work. I put it down and I just haven't been able to pick it back up because I'm not reading it as an escape. I'm reading it, I'm trying to deep read it. And I go over all of the notes and the introduction and the lecture. And I'm doing, I've only gotten through the first 5 or 6 books, but I'm enjoying it. And I do think I can finish it for the end of the year because it really does go quick when you get in there. The next book, which I'm hoping I can finish for the end of the year, is Woman of Valor, Margaret Sanger and the Birth Control Movement in America by Ellen Chesler. This is a hefty biography on Margaret Sanger, who was instrumental in ensuring that American women had access to, if not birth control, information about birth control. She was one of the founding women of what is now morphed into Planned Parenthood. I don't think it was called Planned Parenthood when she started it, but she was instrumental in starting that type of organization, which has morphed over the years. And so this biography was published in the early 90s, I think. And I was very excited to read it. And I'm only a quarter of the way through. I started this in September. However, this is a little bit dense, and I'm just having a hard time getting through it. It's just not a good pace, and we're going on tangents and everything, which is good because I'm getting all of the information on Sanger, but I'm just slogging through it, and I don't like slogging through my biographies. But I do want to finish it. I do think I'll get some really good information out of it. Another thing is, don't meet your heroes. She wasn't, a scumbag or anything, but if I had met her back then, I would not be friends with this woman. She did a lot of important work, and I can understand some of her radical stances. She's the type of person like, I want this done now, and I want it done my way. And I totally appreciate that. That's how I feel sometimes. But there is something to be said sometimes about incremental change. Not everything is going to happen at once. And if you, go in raging and kicking doors down, you're going to get a backlash. So I appreciate Margaret, but we would probably not be besties. I'm doing fairly well with this next one, and this is This Land is Their Land, The Wampanoag Indians, Plymouth Colony, and the Troubled History of Thanksgiving by David J. Silverman. I'm halfway through it. I'm flying through it. I will definitely, hopefully finish this in November. And this is a book dispelling the myth of the first Thanksgiving, the myth being that the Wampanoag Native tribes here in Massachusetts had never seen colonists before, and they, were nice, and they helped colonists survive, and everybody was besties. And that was not the case. This was not first contact for the Wampanoag Indians. All of the tribes on the eastern seaboard were well aware of the European colonists for 100 years. And so they were well familiar with the disease, with the trading, and with their backstabbing and everything like that. They were well aware of this. So what has become this odd myth of, best friends, friendly Indians and pilgrims, really was a strategic maneuver between the colonists and the Wampanoag tribe for survival and protection. It was an actual alliance. It wasn't just like, oh, you're hungry, here, let me teach you how to grow some corn. Not the case. It just didn't happen that way. And so this is just helping to dispel the myths and show how the Wampanoag tribes were, they had their agency. They had their reasons for doing what they did. And so, yeah, so far so good. I am enjoying it. So next is this little penguin what's it called? Eating with the Pilgrims and Other Pieces by Calvin Trilling. So harping on that, friendly Indians, pilgrims thing. This has nothing to do with actual pilgrims or Indians. This is just a food writer, some essays. And he does have a essay on Thanksgiving meal, in the sense that he wants to change the traditional Thanksgiving meal from turkey to spaghetti carbonara. I mean, okay. So this is just some food writing, and it's interesting. And reading one a day, so I should finish this fairly soon. Next is Summer by Edith Wharton. I started this in the summer. I think I did a video of my summer TBR. This was on it. I did start it, and I got through chapter 7, and I put it down because, not that it wasn't good, it's amazing. Edith Wharton is amazing. I just knew that Edith is going to rip my heart out of my chest, stomp it on the ground, and leave me there to die. So I could just see it coming. So we're following this young girl, Charity Royale, I believe. She's lived kind of a sheltered existence. She's living with this man who raised her, but who isn't her father. The man's wife had passed away, and that first right there, she's living alone with this guy who isn't her father, who raised her. Dinging in my head, I'm like, oh no, this is not good. This is not going to be good. I know what's going to happen here. It hasn't happened yet, but I know what's going to happen. So, and then, this young guy comes into town. He's a newcomer. He's, staying with a neighbor, and she meets. And of course, it's going to be some sort of summer romance, but I know tragedy is going to happen. I know it. And I stopped reading before the tragedy happened because I don't know if I can take it. So I really do want to finish this, but I think I really do have to be in the mood to have my heart ripped out. And I just have not been in that mood yet. So we'll see if I can finish this before the end of the year. Another one I started over the summer but never finished, As You Like It by William Shakespeare. I had started this because I was intending to go see a production of this in Boston. Every year, one of the Shakespeare companies puts on Shakespeare on the Common. And so you have outdoor Shakespeare on Boston Common, and it's amazing. And I used to go every single year, and I was intending to go this year. I did not make it. So I started reading this. I got to Act 2, and then I put it down when I realized that I wasn't going to make it to the show. So I would like to finish this. I don't like leaving things unread. Some more plays that I've been reading, the Collected Plays of Neil Simon, Volume 4. I do not own Volumes 1, 2, or 3. I only own Volume 4, and this one contains Lost in Yonkers, Rumors, Jake's Women, Laughter on the 23rd Floor, and London Suite. And I started reading this because I was specifically reading Rumors. There is a local theater company that's going to be putting on this show in a couple of months, and I'm considering auditioning for it. If you're new here, I used to be a performer many, many years ago. I have not performed in about a decade, so I would like to get back into it. And so I wanted to reread Rumors to refresh my memory, and it's absolutely hilarious. It's a farce, so it's just silly. And I decided, well, might as well read the rest of the plays because I've read most of them, but what the heck, I don't like leaving things unread. So I've just been each day reading one of the plays, and Neil Simon is a gem. Very, very funny. Lost in Yonkers won the Pulitzer in the 90s, I think. I can't remember. Really amazing story. So yeah, Neil Simon plays. Next is this little slim thing, Sleepless Night by Elizabeth Hardwick. And I'm having a hard time with this. I've only gotten through the first chapter, and it's not the writing. This isn't really a novel per se. This is just, I guess, a scrapbook of thoughts. And it's part fiction, part reality. Elizabeth Hardwick is looking back on her life, and it's just these snippets of things that are running through her head. And there's no sense of time. You don't know when these have happened. There's some letters in here. There's some musings. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's false. It's just very disjointed. And so I'm having a hard time with it. So I put it down, and I just have to sort of rearrange my expectations and know that I can't just read this through like a book. I just can't. It's too disjointed. I thought when I picked this up, this little thing, I was like, oh, I'm going to fly through this. No, I'm just, there's no linear tale here. It's just a disjointed jumble of thoughts, which necessarily isn't a bad thing. It's just not what I was expecting. So we'll see if I can get through this. And last is Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk. And I have only gotten through like 80 pages. 20 pages. I've been wanting to read this for like ages. And this is a cranky old woman in Poland. People start dying and nobody's listening to her. And so I've gotten to the first 20 pages. This seems like a very wintry novel. So if I don't finish it for the end of the year, it's still most likely going to be a good winter read because this is taking place in the winter in Poland. So this is translated from the Polish. Sorry, who's the translator? Antonia Lloyd-Jones. So yeah, I've been looking forward to reading this for a while, and I won't be terribly upset if I don't finish it before the end of the year. So we will see. So that is it. 10 books that I want to give a fighting chance to try and finish before the end of the year. I've had all of these books on the go, some, for a very long time, some not so long, but I would love to finish them. Let me know what you are trying to read before the end of the year, and have you read any of these? Let me know. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining, and have a great day. Bye.